it is a good time for another garden tour video. There's still not tons of plants, but I have been busy doing some things which you will see. I may wait a moment and see who all decides to come join on said garden tour. So until then, we're just here underneath this oak tree. I'll show you that, because why not? This is the oak tree outside my house that is actually pretty awesome at providing shade over my backyard. So it's actually cooler outside in the shade about 3:30 than it is in the house, which I feel like is sad, but part of the house is uninsulated currently, so it can get kind of warm there in the afternoons, especially since we are in Texas, so that doesn't help. Over there is my dad's more mature stuff. I can't even call it a garden, it's just his yard full of things. I don't think he intended to have a food forest, but as time has gone on, it has gotten closer and closer to that. It's just kind of what happened. So now we'll go ahead and go to my garden. Oh, hey, look, a burn spot with stuff we need to burn. We burned some stuff previously, but there's more stuff. There's always more stuff. It's a continual cycle. Anyway, here we go. So, eventually I want to put some kind of plants in those cinder blocks so they're not just empty blocks. That's kind of sad. Let's see. Got our little privet tree bush growing. I think it did indeed take root because it's green again. It's actually the first one that perked up again. I thought that since it was so large, it was gonna kind of wilt and shrivel like the other large one did. The other large one is that barren stick over there, which, like the 4 leaves that are left on it, it finally perked up. I thought the same would happen to this one, but that is not the case. I don't know if it's because it is more underneath the tree, or if I did a better job digging it up when I transplanted it, or what. But it's here and it's lovely. And the jury is still out on whether it's going to be just a placeholder or if it is a permanent tree. We shall see. But coming around here, I think I may have changed the fence since the last time I showed you this. I'm not sure. Maybe. But around here, I did this bamboo trellis. I have like 2 metal T-posts that I had left over to do it because I'm planning on having boysenberry plants coming sometime this week. And I thought, well, I need to have a trellis for the boysenberries to grow up. That branch there is not part of the trellis. That was just thrown over the fence by my son back there. But this bamboo trellis. That was a fun project, and I mentioned in a short earlier that, it's not all perfect straight lines and everything, and there are random bits and stuff on it, but nature really seemed to just hate straight lines, and it works against them and stuff, so this is what we're doing, and I think it will actually work better. And I've been piling up the dirt and mulching more in preparation. I feel like this dirt has gotten pretty ferocious in here. I mean, a few weeks ago, that's the last remnants of it right there. I had a half of a watermelon that I didn't want, and I put it right here at the edge of the garden, and was honestly kind of gambling that maybe it would decompose before an animal came up out of the woods and dug in my garden space to get to it. But it was like that night, the worms and other microbes in the soil ate all the red, good part of the watermelon, and it was just a couple days until they ate the rest, and now, you can't even see it. And that was not that long ago. That was recently. So this dirt has gotten ferocious. Got the path here. Another privet tree that lost most of its leaves, but it also seems to have taken root and slightly perked up. More mulch. That's been a lot of the recent things has been mulching stuff and getting the bone structures in with the garden. Here's a little pine tree with a napkin that I put over to reinforce the mulch or whatever, but yay, pine tree. And there are tiny potatoes coming up. Let's see if you can even see it. Yeah, right in there we got the star of a little potato. I marked out the potatoes with little tomato cages because I was like, if I don't mark these, I'm gonna lose them. And here's the spot I planted some wild dewberries over here because they were just popping up in my yard, and I'm hoping that they come back because they're looking pretty wilty right now. You can see those wilty shrubs there. That's the dewberries. That one looks okay. That one does not. I'm hoping that they come back. I was gonna have this spot be my little dewberry patch. And more weeds. I'm just letting the weeds go. My theory is I'm trying to mulch anyway. So, worst case, unless they pose an actual problem, I'm just letting them be there. Add some green mulch in that I didn't plant, or green manure, whatever. Here are a lot more potatoes. There's an oak tree start right in the middle. Here's a mulberry tree cutting that I took a few days ago. waiting for it to start thriving again. It seems to have wilted a little. I went and took off a lot of leaves in advance because I knew that would happen. So I'm hoping it really comes back a lot. Oh, hey, a potato. I don't remember putting that there, but I guess I did. Yay, potatoes. I like potatoes. More potatoes. Oh, more cinder blocks. This next spring, I may plant in the fall, but the next spring, I plan on having the strawberries in the cinder blocks, and then in between the cinder blocks, I want to have some kind of flower with bright bloom. It will kind of hopefully confuse the birds or something. You know, the strawberries will have those pops of red, but if the flowers also have a pop of color in the same area, hopefully it will kind of confuse the birds. And even if it doesn't, you know, pollinators and birds they're good. I like strawberries, but I like birds too. Here's a bunch of potatoes. Some of my potatoes are starting to flower. There's a flower. That's a different plant. Here's some flowers that are gonna open soon. Yay! Oh. And what I've kind of decided, I've got this path going into the woods here. What I've decided I'm gonna do is, at some point in the future, I'm planning to clear out more of this space over here and have like a rotating composting thing where I'll actively compost in one area 1 year, and then the next year I can switch to the next plot and like put stuff there, and the old stuff can just sit and do its thing for a whole year. And then I don't know if I want to have like a third place in there and plant stuff where there was compost, or if I just want to take said compost and use it all in the garden. Something. But anyway, here are my wood potatoes. This was a more compact clump before, and I learned about hilling potatoes and why people hill potatoes. So I did that, and that spread them out a bit. And I don't know if that'll help because I hilled it pretty late in the season. So I don't know how much that will help this year, but we'll see. And of course I planted it right in the poison oak, I guess. I don't think that's poison ivy, the poison oak right there, and over here, and it's all in the woods. So whenever I dig these up, I'm gonna be all in the poison oak roots. That's okay, I'll wear gloves. I'll wash the potatoes. It'll be fine. We'll deal. But that's my garden. That's pretty much what I have currently. And, I haven't really planted much, like, in here to have a whole bunch of flowers or anything, but just, I guess making a more habitable space for different things has already had me see multiple butterflies come through this area in my yard back there, and I don't typically see that right here. And the birds swoop through the yard, and usually they fly around and avoid this open space, but I don't know, I guess since I've been putting more vegetation out here, they're happier, even though there aren't like plants. That's my guess. I'm not sure. It's really humid. I had thought about showing the bigger garden as well. That may be a later thing, so I'm gonna go and let y'all go, because there is not a ton more to show off right here. So yeah, have a great day.